YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today, guys, we are gonna do the prediction banners for the month of August. Now, in some cases or in rare occasions, Konami will also add like a ban list or small ban list by the end of the month, depending on the meta. But that's a rare occasion. Most of the time, it's just gonna be added, or the new ban list is gonna be added alongside the newer packs. So with this, I just want to predict some of the cards that's going to be added into the Malice by next month. And so far, with the commonality of Malice in the game recently, of course, that being tier 1 in the current format that we're in, which is pretty insane. I mean, that deck has everything from banishing cards, interacting cards, and even like destroying cards on the field is just insanely good. And the next turn, you can just do the same thing all over again. So we will add that one in the prediction ban list for next month. And hopefully some of them will get hit, because I am just tired of seeing them in the format that they're in. Although I do love the deck, but you know, you get tired from time to time seeing them in most of your games. But anywho, without further ado, I won't take any more of your time. Let's start off this prediction ban list with the semi-limited. Alright, so for our semi-limited list, we have only like 6 cards here. I will include Christians because Christians has been always going to be a pretty good deck in my own opinion. Having just to start off your combo by just one card and then snowball yourself into a winning game on the next turn or on that turn per se. So with regards to the Christian, I would start off with the most common ones so far is the Smyger. Smyger is a pretty good starter for most of your games. Normal summon this, send this to the grave, and then you just combo it off. Another thing there, if you don't have the Smyger, you also have the Inclusion, which is another good starting card on your hand as well. The, what you call that other Christian card? The Tristaros. I would add this one as a semi-limited, but the consistency of the Smyger and the Inclusion are way too much or way more useful, and you need to have a Christian Synchromaster to pop with this effect in the grave. A Synchromaster in the field, that's one requirement for it to activate its effect. Nevertheless, the most important one would be, for my, or in my own opinion, is the Smyger and the Inclusion. The rest, it needs to have like a partner, like the level 5s, it needs to have another card to dump, to spell summon, to pop, for it to be spell summoned to the field. And with that, the most commonality for consistent gameplay for the Christians is always going to be the Smyger and always going to be the Inclusion. So them semi-limiting would lessen the consistency of this deck to perform. Regardless, they're still pretty strong even if you like put them on 2 copies for each, because most of the time you will see their counterparts accessing them with their effects. These are my only 2 cards for the semi-limited list. If you have another card to add into this semi-limited list, tell me in the comment section below. And then, of course, the long-awaited Malice cards in the semi-limited list. I will not add them in the limited list because I think it would make them step down from the tier 1 status down to tier 3, being inconsistent and all. I'm not saying that every Malice cards needs to be on limited, but I think in some cases, some of them needs to be limited and some of them needs to be semi-limited. But for the balance sake of this game and to remove some consistency cards for their main deck, I do agree putting White Rabbit, Dormouse, and a copy of Hare in the semi-limited list just to lessen the consistency of this deck to perform. And what I mean by that is because White Rabbit allows you to gain a trap card that you can actually use during that turn, which is quite significant. Second of all, Dormouse is another good card as well as your primary starter to just pop off if you have this one card on hand and your opponent can't do anything with the Dormouse. And lastly, with the Hare is this: if you can't summon your white binder to the field or your binder to the field, then this is one of your go-to cards to just banish the binder, summon to the field, and then you interact with your graveyard for the banish. So this also triggers other Malice cards for the banish to have an extra body on the field, and that way it triggers a lot. So very useful for the deck. So these are my top 3 cards for the semi-limited, lessening the consistency of this deck to perform a bit higher than the standard rate that it's in. And lastly, one more card that I want to add, although I don't really care if this would be semi-limited or limited, because primarily the main deck monsters are your main choice of popping off. This is just like an add-on, because you can still use this on one copy and then 2 copies of Gold Sarcophagus, or like 2 or 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. It's basically the same thing. The inclusion of the 3k attack with this effect is pretty good though, but the banish effect is what you aim for this card. So having 1 copy of this or limiting this to 1 copy wouldn't be that significant. So yeah. But anyways, putting this to 2 copies might as well be, you know, lessening the consistency of the deck to perform. So with that, that is your semi-limited list. Let's move on to your limited list. Okay, so for our limited list, we only have 2 cards, and that would be Engraver. The reason for this added into the limited list because it has been quite some time now for Fiendsmith to be the best engine so far in the game. Lessening a copy of this doesn't kill the engine by far. For the replacement of Engraver, you also have the Aerial Eater and the copy of Necrocrypt Princess as an additional cards to exchange for an Engraver. Nevertheless, the second copy of Engraver makes it very consistent enough in gaining access to the spell card. The best engine so far, we need to cut that one out, because I've been seeing this in most of the decks. Whether or not there's relevancy within the deck, they are putting the Fiendsmith engine into it. So having to limit this to 1 would lessen the probability of sending a second copy from the deck to the graveyard with the effect of Lacrima. So that is my reason for limiting this to 1, because I got tired of seeing this in most of my games. And lastly, of course, what I talked about earlier. So Gold Sarcophagus is a pretty good card for the Malice. The reason why I want this limited is because this is just too generic for any type of deck that benefits quite well with banishing. Malice, Kashtiras, you'll have Ritual Beast, and even Branded capitalizes on the Gold Sarcophagus. So having this back to limited to 1 might lessen the consistency of some other decks, not just for Malice. So that is Gold Sarcophagus for you. And with that, let's move on to our last section for this video, which is the Forbidden List. Okie doke, so for our Forbidden List, we only have 1 card, and that is the Link Decoder. This is one of the best cards so far for a Malice deck, having to summon your Malice. What you call it, Malice card again? Having to summon your Malice Red Ransom to the field to gain access to the spell card, and then you chain block it with the Link Decoder. That, of course, is another good advantage for the deck, being cybers and all. And I think this is one of the best cards so far, just to link climb into higher cards. Although if this is removed from the game, we have still other cards that can replace this. But yeah, this is the best so far for Malice, just having to gain access to that spell card from the Red Ransom. Or if you're not into going into a Red Ransom, you can go into another decode line, maybe an access code or a transcode for the Math deck and Malice deck. It's up to you. Like I said, additional body to the field to link climb to higher monsters that can win you the game. Pretty important card, pretty important stuff, and that is very formidable for the current format that we are in. So with that, that is everything else for the prediction Banlist for today, guys. What are your thoughts on the prediction Banlist? Am I lacking other cards for this ban list? Tell me in the comment section below. I'll end our segment here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep safe. Good luck. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.